basics of costs, let's enhance this slide so we can focus on this a little bit more. So there are two types of main allowable costs for federal awards. There's allowable direct costs here. Now, I think that what's important to understand is that you need to always look in your notice of funding opportunity, because notice of funding opportunity is, and I mentioned this before, it's sort of like your Easter eggs, if you will, your treasure chest. That's going to tell you what costs are allowable, what costs are not allowable. And that's going to determine, your buckets, and also allowable indirect costs. So when thinking about the types of allowable costs, they have to align with what is allowable in the notice of funding opportunity. Now, as I mentioned before, I don't have the onion today. It's a little bit smelly, but you can understand that there's a lot of layers. So when you're thinking about the allowable direct costs, of course, there's what 2 CFR 200 states, and then there's the federal agency requirements, and then there could be other layers, other requirements. So always making sure that you look at those notice of funding opportunity, and when you get your notice of grant award, making sure that you haven't had any costs included in your budget that could be considered unallowable, and that you would have to do a budget modification. But you must also track unallowable costs, because there are some things that could be included and hidden to ensure they aren't charged to the federal grant. And there also just need to make sure that you're to allocate indirect costs to both the federal award and other non-federal programs. So just keep this in mind, that there's very different categories of costs. There's direct and indirect, and there's allowable indirect, unallowable direct costs.